EMQN is a quality assurance provider for genomic testing laboratories, and our remit, if you like, is to make sure that the testing landscape is harmonised and practice is the same wherever you go in the world. So really, if you're a patient, we want to make sure that you get the same result wherever you have a genetic test carried out. We are in fact the largest provider of quality assurance services for genomic testing laboratories in the world, and that gives us a unique perspective, I suppose, on testing practice, and our participation has grown as a consequence of that.
So EMQN drive forward best practice by using their network of experts, getting them together and working on a project that ultimately ends with a document that is a consensus on the best ways to test specific diseases.
So for the laboratories, it gives them a framework with which they can understand how best to undertake a test. They've got the additional knowledge, if you like, and education about the best approaches that are necessary to make sure the test works correctly, and also all the key aspects of the clinical interpretation of the test. So, best practice is not just about making sure the lab gets the right result, but it's also about making sure they understand what the implications of that result are for the patient. And best practice guidelines and standard setting allow us to help influence that process. So we engage all of our key users in a process of developing guidelines that brings together their knowledge and the expertise of the relevant people to develop the guidelines themselves.
The benefits of best practice is that if we notice that there are laboratories that are not doing so well in the externally quality testing, we can suggest or send them a best practice policy document and say, we recommend maybe that you could have a look at this and decide if some of those recommendations will suit you and help you improve the whole process. The final product of best practice projects are that we publish it in a scientific paper, so it's reviewed again by even more external experts to make sure that they agree. Once it is published, we disseminate it to our network, and EMQN ensures that all of our papers are always open access. So beyond our network, anyone who Googles the paper, it's free essentially, so that anyone can benefit from it.
As a standard setting organisation, we need to have a standard to assess the laboratory's performance against, and best practice guidelines set that standard.